It's funny. We've done some reviews where it's been brutal, to be honest with you, Joe. And we have one where we're catching a lot of crap over. Have you had anything from Cigar City at all?
I haven't. I just met one of their brewers this past week at CBC, and
don't tell him you know us.
I can't speak to anything about their beer. The brewer was really cool. I didn't have an opportunity to taste their beer. Theirs was all out at the session that I met him at. I've heard good things, and it's with everything with craft beer. We're making beer that obviously there's 1,700 of us now. If everybody liked every beer that we made, I don't think there'd be 1,700 of us out there. Everybody's making beer for their taste or for their regional taste or the local taste, and
absolutely.
I think that really shows when you start. If you take some of the West Coast IPAs and you put them out in Pennsylvania, you're going to get a much different reaction than people in San Francisco are to the East Coast IPAs coming that way. So it's good to see the regionalism really starting to play a factor in the beers we're making.
Well, yeah, I think the East Coast, and Dave is just starting to get into being a hophead. It seems a little more bitter for the sake of bitter, a little more piney, kind of with that Simcoe sort of cat piss smell. We're more. I like it. I think.
Yeah, my tastes are also gravitating towards the West Coast IPAs, where you have a little more of that sweetness. I need that citrusy sweetness in it to make it taste good. Just for me, everybody's different, but
just brew it for him.
Yeah. Just for me.
Yeah, I think you get Colorado. We kind of fall in this middle ground where I think we're making really, I'd say some of the more complex IPAs out there. We're really trying to go really heavy hop flavor and aroma check, and I think that's where we tend to have a little bit more body in our IPAs than some of the West Coast IPAs. It's kind of where I see this difference falling right now. Mm-hmm. But then it's one brewery to another too. I think things are getting so blurred. It's really fun.
Well, and I think it's great too because there's a lot of collaboration going on and a lot of one-upmanship. I've done this. All right, well, damn, they're doing this, so let's try this. Or there was no way I would ever stick a rabbit in a beer, but hell, let's go for it because it tastes great. And a lot. You could call it Lucky Ale. There, you can have it. I've given you that one, Lucky Ale. And Davis left the show based on that. And look at that. One beer and I'm already just off the reservation. Right. But
there we go. That's all it takes. That's why beer is such a great thing.
Mm-hmm. As we finish this one, we're going to get into the IPA hopefully. If you're able to, let's weigh in on what do you think about Anhieser Busch purchasing Goose Island? Do you have any thoughts on that? And
it was always my understanding that Goose Island had a large share of their company owned by Anhieser Busch Inbev. So this is a majority takeover.
It was 38% previously, I believe.
Yeah. So there's been some influence in the past. It's I can speak from for us as an independent craft brewer, and I think for a lot of independent craft brewers right now, a number of us were at CBC, and we're starting to see the effects of some of these companies getting to, the original owners are getting to secession, and they're moving on, and they're figuring out what to do with their company, or they're looking at what is the next steps, and
sure.
I think it's important to stay independent myself. I do believe in the independent craft brewer, and I think that's where you're going to see the most innovation in the next, 20 years to come, 30 years to come. And so, here at Odell, we really value the independent craft brewer. I can't speak to, I don't know what their financial, I'm sure they had reasonings that were, that made a lot of sense to them or whoever was controlling. So I guess I can only speak to, for myself as an independent craft brewer and for the rest of us, out there. I think we're the people who are going to be pushing the industry the most because we're the ones that the founders were brewers initially. We weren't investment bankers. We weren't trust companies or something. We're brewers first and foremost. I always say we got 9 brewers and 2 marketing people, and I do a lot of marketing for this company, and I'm the brewer.
Well, you're right here.
8 great. If it wasn't for the whole team of brewers, we wouldn't make beer. And It's always important to remember that, but, you know, I think it's important to remember that where craft brewing started was by brewers, you know, and that's why I think where it should stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.